Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
Hesitation. Hesitation had always been a weakness that so many of them shared. But not her. She wouldn't hesitate for anyone, and she had never hesitated for any of it. Not when she had decided to boil that bastard Murabold for his war. What an utter fat fool of a man he had thought himself, oh so clever about taking her lands. That arrogance had faded when he was boiled in the hot water, and she had been watching with a smile. She didn't hesitate when it came to taking the lands of Realwater Crossing, lands that would strengthen her own. Those fools on the council had taken her seat, the one that was her father's and should be hers. She had been loyal. Her house had fought and died for the Sevenstars a dozen times over, and would continue to be so, but in her own way. Damn them. Damn them all to the 7 fucking hells. Damn them for making a mockery of her. Damn them for denouncing her and her father. The evil, the cruel, the witch. Fuck them. If she were a man, she would be celebrated. Be celebrated like that king's bastard who was now ruling the realm instead of someone worthy of it like herself. She would be a far better regent than him. She could bring the realm to peace. Perhaps do something against that Corbury fool, since they all seemed to not be able to do anything against him or simply refused. But if she would dare, they would have surely killed her. Why? Just because she was a woman and he was a man. There came a deep and frustrated sigh from her lips as she thought on all these things. Getting up from her chair, she made her way outside her office, already wearing armour. She looked over the pit where her previous husband's head was still resting. She had made it for an alliance at marriage, her previous 3 all having died like the fools they were. She already had heirs, so she had told him that he wouldn't dare touch her. Hells, they didn't even share a bed, but in one drunken night he had tried, and for that she had broken his arm. She had then tortured him and much more. As she approached the stables, Harrion came running up to her. "Don't tell me what you're planning is true, mother." The boy had been battle-hardened and matured when they had faced the Rackes, with him looking years older than he had previously.
Why are you questioning me? This will be for the betterment of Andalia. You and I both know it.
Her voice was harsh and cold as she answered. "Lord Benfrey is a just man, but he would kill you if you face him. Stop this folly, please. We have enough. This will only lead to death." His own answer was with the same hard voice that her father once carried, with the two staring each other down.
You merely say that because you are a man, and all of you are alike. You simply don't understand. You never will. I will be a far better regent than he ever could. Guards, hold my fool of a son down so I may travel in peace.
2 men quickly approached him, with Harrion having already pulled his blade. Cass turned as Harrion fended off the attackers until a third one tackled him from behind. Soon she rode for Sevensport, and she would finally get what was her due. She had never hesitated, so she wouldn't begin now. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Grand Northern Kingdom of Andalia with King Lister, the first of his name, age 12. So we've still got 4 years left of his regency, which isn't too long. Hopefully he does make it to adulthood, unlike Queen Jonquill, first of her name. But our military is looking a little bit better now with that 71,000 strength, so at least we seem to have a few more manpower on side. If you remember, at the end of the last episode, the Rackes went to war with the Lancers over the Black Sheep Hills, as that is part of their de jure land, and they beat me to it, as I was literally going to give that back to the Rackes anyway, once that Benfrey Lancer inherited it and it was a different lordship. So what I've done is ended that war, as it made no sense lore-wise, as Joa and Benfrey are very close friends, so I've given the Black Sheep Hills back to the Rackland where it belongs, and then I have landed in the Black Sheep Hills Sir Warren Blackglass, who is now Lord Warren Blackglass of the Black Sheep Hills. So yeah, that was sorted out, so it's literally just seeing what we're gonna get happening now. We'll unpause and get straight into the episode, as there's not much new stuff to cover. It looks like we do need to fill one of these honorary titles, so let's have a look. We need a new bodyguard. Now I'm not sure who we actually have that we could have as our new bodyguard. We have got Benjicott. Oh, some stuff kicking off. Let's get rid of this for a second. We have got Benjicott Sevenstar, who might be a decent option. We've got an Ironborn, but I'd rather not go for an Ironborn to be honest. We've already got one Ironborn in our King's Guard. We don't want too many. Then again, they would make like good hired swords, wouldn't they? Maybe Victorian Reef here. He's only a trained fighter. He's a knight though. He is Faith of the Seven. Administrator, charitable, brave, proud, just, cynical, envious. Okay, so he's not too bad as far as an Ironborn go. But then we could go for our uncle Benjicott, which might be a safer version. He's a skilled fighter as well. I think we probably would be better off having a 7-star as our guard. Why not? I think that's everything filled. I don't think we need to mess around with anything else. No, we don't, so that's fine. Right, so let's see what we've had pop up here then. So, Lord Todrick of Cape Kraken has declared Lord Todrick's war to liberate captive from Pirate Lord. Okay, for a Pirate Lord, that's going to be a hell of a long war from Lord Todrick here all the way round to the bloody Bloodstones, but whatever. And Sir Benador of Cape of Eagles has made the Lordship of Graveham his primary title. Okay, so he's moved from Cape. That's interesting. Keep an eye on what is going on down there. There's not much for us to look out for at present down in that land. We've got an idle council member. Let's have a look. Okay, so our Master at Arms is currently not doing anything. Let's get him to train the children, considering we've got Lister and his 2 brothers. Let's get Benfrey Lancer training those. You couldn't ask for a better Master at Arms, could you really, to be honest? So that's perfect. Cavan Greenhollow has called in a favour on Rygar, no idea, and Cavan Greenhollow has called in a favour on Wayland, whoever they are. May you live in harmony and contentment. I gladly accept the guardianship contract between Lord Vardis and Lord Elbin. Yes, this is the last Aaron. I've invited him to court as well, and he's going to be tutored by Lord Vardis of Gultam. So most of the young children now throughout the realm are being awarded, which is good. Your Grace, I would like to politely remind you of the gold that Andalia owes my house, and hereby request that the coin owed is paid as soon as possible. The Lord of Bear Island, how much do we get? What the? 180? My God, I hate how this always happens. Apparently we owe like every Ironborn house a ridiculous amount of money. We'd lose 200 prestige by saying no, and wow, we get some dishonour. We're going to have to pay the money then, unfortunately, even though that is a ridiculous amount of money. Thankfully, we've got a decent amount of money. Queen Barina the Magnificent revoked the lordship of King House from Edric Stark. Okay, so she took Skagos away from us. Oh, so we do have a couple of male Starks still lurking around here and there in the north, it would seem. Dawn Forest independence has now ended, which is a shame. I was contemplating maybe we should take that land. It would have been a nice bit of land to follow on down the White Knife. We'd own near enough all of the land of the White Knife. It might not be a bad idea still to maybe, I don't know, maybe at some point take that. But we've not got eyes on the north at present. A son was born to Quentin Botley, named Eric Botley. Okay, so another old Ironborn in the court. And okay, yep, that's pretty much that's going on there. I've seen that a couple of houses, I know that Reed was one, and a lot of you did know about it anyway, have a Sword of the Sky, which is basically like their version of Dawn, which is interesting. But there was another character I seen while I was looking around who's also got one in Andalia, but I can't for the life of me remember who it was. I can't remember what house it was at all. So, could it have been the Muds? There's a chance it could have been the Muds. Was it Lord Jamie of Oldstones, who's currently imprisoned by Lady Redwolf? No, it wasn't the Muds. No idea who it was, and I can't remember who it was. Hi, King Lister. I've listened to the advice of a group of my bannermen, led by Lord Wendell Stark of Chiltern. I hereby enact a series of laws empowering my council to act and vote on matters pertaining the governance of the High Lordship of Willowwood. Signed, Lord John of House Seymour. That's a silly mistake to make. Now, yeah, a lot of people were also saying in the comments of the last video that we should improve our crown authority, and unfortunately we can't do anything about that at our current age and while we've got a regency. That's something that we're going to have to try and improve when Lister comes of age, because unfortunately I think it's been like that for a while. That's why Lyanna couldn't force her bannermen to bend the knee and stop fighting either, because basically when Jonquill was put in charge and the council was in power over her in her regency, a lot of the lords must have lowered crown authority and lowered a lot of the authority that Engar II obviously built up incredibly high during his reign. So until Lister comes of age and has been ruling for a while, there's nothing we can do about that, which is a pain in the arse, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. The Crown Loyalist faction is still very, very strong though, which is very nice. Lady Alisane for Andalia. Okay, so Lady Redwolf is trying to plot, and Lord Joa of the Warrior's Way is backing that plot, which is interesting because he's always been quite loyal, so there must be some sort of favour here that's being called in. Danes is still going for elective succession in the Mountain in Vale, and Master Byra for Andalia. Okay, Aaron Stars are still plotting as well. We are currently scheming in the Red Wolflands, aren't we? So hopefully we can improve stuff there. We could do with sending Lord Vardis down there as well to improve diplomatic relations. Now that we've improved stuff with the Grey Starks up north. A daughter was born to Sir Ulmer Shycross and Miguel Darry, named Janina Darry. Oh wow, she's been born with the attractive trait, but sickly as well, so hopefully she doesn't pass away. First man, Faith of the Seven Darry, which is interesting. There's not much going on. How is Lady Cass doing? And Sir Harrion? Has Sir Harrion had a child yet? Because he's been married for a while. Oh, he had a stillborn son named Harrion Firehand, who was born with the strong trait. That is such a shame. There will be a live stream before this episode. That would have been last week for you guys, but because I record ahead, this episode would have been recorded before the live stream, even though the live stream will air before this episode, if you understand what the hell I'm saying, basically. So yeah, if I'm contradicting saying stuff in this episode that we covered in the stream, then I apologise for that. It's because this was recorded before. Tyrick of Lannisport has arrived in our court. Okay, and who is his wife? Sorella of Lannisport. Okay, so some random Westerman of Lannisport, but we can think of a new name for this guy. Why not, guys? If anyone's got an interesting thing to pick for him and his lady wife, a new house name. Okay, she's pretty decent, actually. We'll make both of these important. They've both arrived in our court. No idea who they are, or where they've come from, or why they've come here, but okay, pretty cool. Why not? Betrothed can marry Princess Kyra and Arnold Royce, and now able to marry. So, yes, perfect. Let's get our dear sister married to the heir to the lordship of Runestone, the brother of Lord Royce. Special, yeah, we can colonise stuff over the sea, but we're not going to focus on anything like that just yet. Maybe in Lister's later life we could, but not during his regency. It's all about just maintaining power at the minute and getting a little bit of authority back, which Lord Benfrey Highstar is doing a fine job of. I absolutely love Benfrey Highstar. I think he's probably becoming one of my favourite characters in the Knights of Andalia from start to finish, like, of all time. I absolutely love this guy. Wow, he's 46 now, so he's really getting old. But yeah, he's just so perfect. He's got like the honour of Ned Stark, but with actual brains. He's not blinded by his honour. He knows what he's doing. May live in harmony and contentment. I accept your suggestion that Princess Kyra and Arnold get married. Perfect. One of his sons have become a Septon. Septon Bennett of Sieg Hill. And Sir Hugo Highstar, he's not had any children yet. His heir, which is a shame. Hopefully he does get some children. We don't want the Highstar family to die out. I absolutely love them, as I've said. So yeah, hopefully things do improve there. These past few weeks, Lord Benfrey has been drilling me in the use of swords and lance. The instructions has been hard and stern, but my prowess has increased. He is a fine teacher. We become a trained fighter. Well, thank you, Benfrey Lancer. Like I said, we could not ask for a better teacher than Benfrey Lancer. How is our brother Prince Enger doing? He'll be about 10 now, won't he? Oh no, Prince Enger's only 8. He's 4 years younger than us, which is interesting. Okay, so okay, he's very intrigue focused, which is interesting. And what about Prince Owen? He's not really gained anything yet other than curious, but wow, very good diplomacy-wise, which is nice. So we'll keep an eye on him. And Septon Geoffrey has declared Faith of the Seven revolt against High King Lister of Andalia. Okay, interesting. Faith of the Seven rebels have risen up in Chiltern, led by a militant Septon. If not swiftly crushed, this revolt could spread like wildfire. But we are Faith of the Seven, so that makes no sense. Andalia is in a state of war. We should send ravens to the Great Lords. They will surely honour their obligations. Right, so we've got something kicking off in Chiltern, but there's no one here. No idea. Is Lord Seymour fighting against it, or Lord Wendell Stark of Chiltern? No. Does that mean they've converted? Is this still Faith of the Seven down here? I've got a feeling it might. Old God, sorry. I've got a feeling it might. No, it's all Faith of the Seven. Literally all of. Wow. All of the Riverlands in Vale is now Faith of the Seven, which is very interesting because a lot of this was originally Old God still, and the wars have ended. Yeah, literally nothing kicked off there at all then. And Lady Cass is yet to convert her new lands, but I'm guessing it won't take Cass long. The war has ended. You wish to reappoint the Old Council? Well, of course. Let's speed things up a little bit. I can't speed things up too much because, as we know, this save file is that big now that if we do speed things up too quick, it literally just doesn't go any quicker. It just lags along because the file's ridiculously huge. Your Grace, I, Princess Rennie, sincerely ask that I be allowed to pursue a career as a septon of the faith of the Seven, so that I can fully dedicate myself to studying the seven-pointed star and worshipping the gods. Okay, if I give her permission, we gain 10 prestige, lose a little bit of gold, gain some piety, but we break a betrothal. I'm going to say, isn't she betrothed to Eldric Belmore? See, we want to keep the Belmores on side, so I'm afraid we're going to have to say no, Princess Rennie, just because you've already got a betrothal to Eldric and you're due to marry in 2 years' time, so I don't want to break our word with the Belmores. We need to keep the Belmores on side. Obviously, with Danes having most of the Vale under his control, we need to keep that under our control. Owella Reed was born stillborn. Cass Firehand. Whoa, Cass Firehand's died. I think she's died. Cass Firehand has had a dragon scourge removed from their treasury. Castlecruel was slain by Lord Benfrey II of the Giant's Lance in personal combat. What? What? How? What the hell happened here? Okay, so Cass Firehand has had Dragon Scourge removed from their treasury. Lord Harrion is now and that's another husband. That's her 5th husband. So Lord Harrion is now the new Lord of the Father's Fields. I'm really confused how she ended up dueling Benfrey. So he's now got... Yeah, Cass Firehand was slain by Lord Benfrey II of the Giant's Lance in personal combat. Interesting. He's got 4 kills. He's killed 3 people in personal combat, which is interesting. Okay, that is interesting. Why were they even involved in personal combat? What happened there? What was Cass up to that's made that happen? That is really interesting. I think that's the perfect time for a mid-POV to maybe explain some of that after I know a little bit more about it. So I hope you enjoy, guys. As Benfrey stood engaged in conversation with 2 of his guards, his attention was suddenly drawn to the doors of the throne room, which had burst open. In strutted Cass Firehand. A smug smile slapped across her face, her arrogant posture speaking volumes. "Why, Lady Firehand, what is it that I can do for you?" Benfrey asked cordially. He knew all too well why she had come to Sevensport that day. He had been informed by Lord Risewell prior of her plans and what she had hoped to achieve.
Lord Benfrey, I am here to relieve you of your duties as regent. I myself shall reside here and take up the position.
Benfrey stood silent for a moment before letting out a small chuckle. He knew Cass was blunt and to the point, but even for her this was unbelievably foolish.
What is it you find so amusing? Do you find me funny?
Benfrey interrupted. "Lady Cass, you are a bold one. I know why you are here and what you plan to do. That's why I myself have also set plans in motion." A perplexed look consumed Cass's face. "Lady Firehand, I must inform you that I hereby sentence you to stand trial. You will be charged with several crimes which are as followed. Conspiring against the crown and its regency to further your own social standing by murdering the current regent myself. Numerous accounts of murder, including Lord Morribold Rack and your most recent Lord Husband. You will also be charged for taking the lands of Rillwater Crossing by force, despite the Crown's order to stand down. The trial will take place 3 days from now. May the Seven decide your fate. Men, take her into custody." Benfrey knew she would not simply go quietly. Cass let out a roar of hysterical laughter.
No, Lord Benfrey.
She smirked.
Your power does not reside over me, so we will let steel decide my fate.
Determination in her eyes, she unsheathed Dragon Scourge.
Your time for regency has now come to an end. Let us see if Bastard's blood is really as black as they say.
Her sword abruptly cut through Benfrey's guards like a hot knife through butter, her actions precise and swift. Both men now lied in a pool of their own blood. Without delay, Benfrey himself unsheathed his sword. Their blades collided, steel upon steel. Benfrey was not stupid. He knew Cass was competent with a blade, and he knew of her lust for combat. As he swung his sword, she evaded numerous attempts at a strike. Their blades clashed and clanged together numerous times. He knew all he had to do was bide his time, and eventually she would make a mistake. It was at that moment Benfrey saw an opening. He thrust his sword towards his target. His sword now found itself temporarily lodged deep within Cassie's leg. As he wedged it free, she screamed in utter agony. Benfrey observed a moment of true terror in her eyes. Her leg seeped with an abundance of blood. Buckling under the pressure of her severely damaged leg, she lost her balance. Benfrey now seized the moment to disarm her. Her sword had now abandoned her and found itself on the other side of the throne room. Benfrey saw this moment to put an end to Cass once and for all. He grabbed her by the hair and pulled her close. Their eyes met, and for a moment there was a brief pause. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Benfrey's steel penetrated Cassie's sternum. He slid the sword deep within her, all the way to its dragon-bone hilt. She let out a sigh, yet she did not struggle. Blood began to trickle from her mouth. She gritted her teeth and groaned.
"Bloody bastard!"
Her eyes began to flicker, and before he knew it, her breath grew silent. Her lifeless corpse sank to the floor. Rackes Fyrehands was now dead. Okay, so we're back from the mid-period. I decided to forward a couple of months ahead where nothing's really been happening, so I thought we may as well skip things ahead. The only thing that happened is Lord Royce had a stillborn daughter, but that's not the Lord Royce who was married to our sister, so that's fine. At the age of 40, your bannerman, Lord Veron Volmark, was beheaded on the orders of Lady Zosha Harlaw. Okay, interesting. And Barina Stark has had items removed from their treasury. She has died from severe stress at the age of 46. So that means we have a new queen in the north. So who is the new queen in the north? Wow, she looks very Stark, very queen in the north. Queen Lyanna of the north, only 16 years old. And she is married to Prince Brandon, who is also a Stark. So they're keeping that incest is incest. They're keeping that Stark blood pure. At the age of 46, your subject, Pera Lingrave, died of complications related to gout. That's fine, nothing too serious. I don't even think there's many things we can do decision-wise. Lady Janissa of Tumble, that doesn't mean anything to us. So we can't even hold a feast or have a tourney or anything like that. Once we come of age, we're going to have a grand rose heart in Sevensport. We will obviously organise a coronation ceremony and do a lot of stuff like that. But until then, there's not much we can do. Apparently, we've got some threats. Okay, most of which coming from the Iron Islands, the threatening ones, of course. Your Grace, my mission to Rushmore has so far been a success. During my visit to the court of Lady Alysanne Redwolf of Seaguard, I seem to have managed to make her understand what a benevolent and peaceful ruler you really are. She sends her regards. Your humble Master of Laws, Lord Vardis of Lord Gardis Grafton of Ghoultown. That's not got rid of the Independence Factory yet, but at least it has improved opinions. Lord Ellery of Warriors Watch decided to exile Hollis of Penkledon. Okay, he's no one of importance, but he's been sent to the Night's Watch anyway, and there's nothing really else going on there. The more I hear of the words of the wise men of old, the more I want to be like them. Only from knowledge comes true strength. We lose the trait Idolizer, and we gain Erudite. Okay, which is an interesting trait to have. That gives us 2 learning and an opinion penalty for different cultures, -10, and different religion, -10. So this character has a scholarly and bookish disposition. Very interesting trait to pick up. A nice trait to pick up. As well as the 3 virtues that we've got: temperate, kind, and charitable. We're a trained fighter, so he's looking like he's growing into a fairly decent king. On military might has gone up to 77,000 as well, which is interesting, so we'll keep an eye on that. Our wealth is still improving. Oh, what have we got here? We've got something kicking off down here in the Vale. Army of rebels. And who are they fighting? Are they fighting Benfrey? No, are they literally just fighting these? They're sieging House Maiden down, but I've got no idea who they are. Just some random rebel army. So no idea what is going on there. What is going on beyond the wall, actually? Because I know that the... Wow, yes, they literally just need to take the frozen shore now, and the king beyond the wall will have united the wildlings. King Moore of beyond the wall. There's nothing really that interesting about him, but he must be half decent, considering that he's managed to bring the tribes together for the first time in... it's probably been 80 to 100 years or so since we had a king beyond the wall, so he's done pretty well. Damien Shycross is now known as the Rash. and he is betrothed to an Oxstar, which is a interesting match, so we'll see what happens there. Lord Samwell of the Father's Ford has formed an alliance with Lord Edmund of Silverspear. Okay, so the Silver Eyes and the Richards have formed an alliance, which is interesting. Will they act against Lord Harrion, maybe? I don't think they will. And he's very impressive, especially with that martial and skilled fighter. Now that he has a Valyrian steel sword, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on him. He's very zealot, so I'm guessing he will start trying to convert some of these lands. Your Grace, I've collected an ample tax revenue in Sevensport. The money should reach you together with this letter. Excellent news. Wow, 135 gold pretty much. That's very nice. Well done, Ermin Bloom. Thank you very, very much. Special holding. We can upgrade some holdings. It's going to cost, yeah, 1,200 gold to do any of those. So I think we'll give that a miss for now. We want to keep that money. And Joe Rack has actually took over this faction to try and seat somebody else upon the throne now, which is worrying. And at the age of 47, your bannerman, Lord Mathis of Crabshaw, died from too much drinking. So who is his new heir? Lord Gilbert Crescent of Crabshaw, and he's an imbecile and a lunatic. Okay, so that guy's a idiot, basically. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there. And hey, yes, there are some high-star forces here now. So who are you? Apparently not at war with anybody, so interesting to see what's going on there with Benfrey. No idea. No idea what's going on there. Or what's going on in the south. The south is a mess as usual. Lord Gilbert of Crabshaw has inherited Lordship of Luna Woods from Lady Melaine of Luna Woods. Oh, she's also died at the age of 68. She's been around for such a long time, and she's passed away from cancer. So he's now inherited both of those lands, hasn't he? Where's Crabshaw? You here. Yeah, you own both of those, but we will be giving Luna one of these away to one of his to his sibling. So both House Crescents will be ruling, and wow, they look very First Man again, like they used to. There was, of course, a First Man house to start with until they married some into a couple of I'm going stupid, a couple of Valyrian houses. And at the age of 52, Lord John of Great Wick died a natural death. High King Lister of Andalia has inherited High Lordship of Great Wick and other titles from Lord John of Great Wick. Lord John Farwind died without leaving any blood relative as a clear heir to the High Lordship of Great Wick. So Lord Regent Benfrey has settled the inheritance by naming Dunstan Ironmark as his lawful heir. Okay, so we didn't even get to pick. I was going to give it to one of the custom Ironborn houses, but okay. Some of your kin are unhappy that you granted the Lordship of Sealskin Point to Lord Duncan Ironmark, as they were expecting to be granted the title themselves. Hilario Snow. Oh, piss off, Hilario. We didn't even do it. Someone else granted it. So House Farwind's... Didn't Lord Farwind have a daughter, though? Yeah, Winfrey Farwind. Ah, she decided to marry a bastard of House Redwolf for some stupid reason, which has made House Farwind die out now. I think all the Farwinds seem to be dead, unless there's some alive somewhere, but it doesn't look like it. Wow, they married into the Durandons. So, yeah, another extinct Ironborn house in the Farwinds. Well, very nearly extinct, down to their last member, which is interesting. How many lands does this guy actually have? Has he inherited more than one? Yeah, he has actually inherited more than one. So what I may do is we will grant one of these lands maybe to one of our Ironborn characters instead. So rather than him having two lordships, there's a couple of lordships going around that I do need to settle and land to other custom characters when we have some, such as the Cape of Eagles, where Lord Benedor Coldwater owns that, and Gravesham. So we will give one of those back to somebody as well. Lady Celine of Redfort has inherited large High Lordship of Redfort and other titles from Lord Yorick of Redfort. So he's died as well from gonorrhea. Lovely. But at least she decided to marry properly, so there are still a couple of Redforts around, which is good. In fact, considering there is a couple of young Redforts around, her son, Heir, he's pretty good. What about the other one? He's better than the other son, Lyman Redfort. What's he good at? He's good at diplomacy. Let's design a Guardian. Let's see if we can get someone with good diplomacy. What about Benfrey Highstar? No. Benfrey Lancer? No. What about We don't want to send him to Daenerys Corey. That's the last thing we want to do. What about Lady Viperin? No, okay, we can't do anything with him at present. Maybe there's a reason why. And at the page of 57, a Botley has died. My god, the Ironborn are dropping like flies in this episode, which will probably make some of you very happy. Balera died a natural death at the age of 71. And Elena Beaumont is now known as the Vengeful. Nice. Interesting name for her. It's probably like the Frail or something would suit her more. And Jorin the Cruel of Crown's Crag was beheaded on the orders of Lady Elena of Strongsong. Okay, so that makes sense to why he was killed. Does he have a Brune daughter? Yes, but they decided to marry into the Muds. But does that mean that you're the heir then? So Lady Brune's heir is... Oh no, yeah, her heir is a Mud, who is also the heir to the lordship of Oldstones, which is interesting. So you're... Okay, so you're the... No, that's confusing. So you're... Yeah, is a Mud. And you're Gilwood Clifton. Okay, so she must have been married to a Mud before. That's very confusing. So the Muds are the heir to that, but also... Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm with it. So the Brunes look like they also may die out, which is a shame. We're getting a lot of houses getting close to extinction at the minute. And at the age of 12, Martin Crescent died of grayscale at the age of 12, but he was an imbecile. So I'm guessing Chris, who is the founder of House Crescent, won't be too bothered about that game. There seems to be a couple of imbeciles, so hopefully if they die out, I'm guessing he'll be happy with that. Rhonda Pisswater, what a name, has had regular flagship added to their treasurer. What did she call it? Oh, she's pregnant. Whimsy. Oh, that's not as impressive as Lord Aga Greyjoy's old ship, is it? Nowhere near as impressive as that ship. If anyone can remember that. I won't repeat it again. It's not very gentlemanly. Let's continue forward things along then. Lady Perra of Blackwood has declared Lady Perra's war to liberate captive from Lord Lucan of Maidenstone. The plot of Lady Perra of Blackwood on Lord Lucan. Okay, so it's a plot. I'm guessing that's going to be her brother who he did unseat. And we're now 13. Let's forward a bit of time away so we can get a little bit more into the Regency and try and get a little bit closer to Lister coming of age, because, yeah, like I said, there's not a lot we can do whilst he's so young, and I do apologise for that. Your Grace, I humbly ask that you intervene on my behalf against Lady Perra Blackwood. We'll try, but it's up to the council. After years of careful planning, Raleigh Pisswater from the court of Lord Quaylon of Blacktide has raised a large army of exiles, mercenaries and hopefuls, declaring her intention to go off and carve out a realm of her own. Okay, well, let's make her important, because I'd like to see what she manages to do. Well, good luck to her. The vote on whether to command Lord Lady Perra Black to end her war against Lord Loken Stoke has been taken. The council voted in favour. Your Grace, of course, I will obey your order and bring an end to this war. Good gal. You know, it makes sense. We don't want to be going against the council. Well, at least the council seem to be voting in favour of what we want. And Lord Jonas of Rillwater Crossing died at 38 of cancer. Cancer seems to be going around a hell of a lot at the minute, all throughout the realm. So, who is the new... Oh, we've got Lady Bea of Rillwater Crossing, 7 years old. Okay, hopefully she marries properly and not stupidly. Is his wife pregnant? No, she's not, so the Fyrehands haven't got anyone else yet. What about the Greystarks? Has Maynard had a child yet? Yes, he has. He's had a daughter, Jane Greystark. Interesting. I know that him and his wife despise... Well, his wife despises him because they're both zealot, but of different religions. So that was a very stupid match. Oh, the wall is under assault, and the Night's Watch is hard-pressed to defend it. They have called on all lords of the realm to take up arms and aid them in defending the realm from the dangers beyond the wall. Ready the men, we ride north at dawn. I'm sure they can handle a few Snarks and Grumpkins. Lord Commander Belvazar the Brilliant of House Bolton, who we did send to the Night's Watch, has asked for our... Wow, he's got 32 diplomacy now. But they've asked for our aid. And we're Benfrey. Benfrey will aid the Night's Watch. Travellers bring rumours of fire and blood. They say that there is a drought. I don't care. So the Starks have answered the call. And the Night's Watch have. Yeah, we will answer the call as well. We won't call up all of our manpower, though, as we won't need it. We'll just call up Northern Andalia's manpower, which will be more than enough to deal with this. We've already called up the Firehand host there. We'll call up the Greystark host, and the Rack host. Wow. Okay, that should be more than enough manpower. And can we all march to the Great Cliffs? The Great Cliffs will be the perfect place for us to band together. Should we call up the fleets, actually? Let's get those guys to go there. You can march there. We will call up the fleets. 48 fleets, which isn't going to be enough, unfortunately. I thought we had more fleets than that. Let's call up the rest of the fleets. Get them all to sail there. We have enough fleets around here to hopefully be enough. We could call upon the Rack fleet as well, which is a decent size. Well, it's in the Warrior's Watch, isn't it? 121 ships there. Let's bring those round as well, just to make sure we've got enough ships to sail them north. The Rack men may as well march there themselves. So, yeah, the King Beyond the Wall has decided to assault the wall. I don't think they're going to have enough manpower. Be interesting to see if the Lannisters and such joined in as well. Your Grace, your brother Prince Aengar is responding very well to my tuition. He has improved his skills and is advancing in his knowledge every day. Your humble servant, Maester Damon. Good news, he gains 2 stewardship, Prince Aengar, which is awesome. And he's gained the Just trait, which he didn't have earlier in the episode, which is interesting. Cynical, affectionate, brooding, and a powerful. So he's a just intrigue-focused character, which is interesting. Very interesting. We'll keep an eye on him. And I definitely want to keep an eye on this host and see what they are planning to do. Who is she going to go and declare war on? She's attacking Mistress Syra the Gross in Raleig's conquest of Sweetwater. Okay, they're going to try and take some Valyrian land, which may be a bit of a stupid idea. Who knows? We'll find out, I'm sure, what will happen there. Let's just continue to move along, get our troops together so that we can go and help out attacking the Night's Watch. At the age of 30, 2 people have died. Donal Irontide died of cancer, and at the age of 36, your subject, Foki Breakiron, died under suspicious circumstances. No idea who she is, if I'm perfectly honest. And at the age of 71, your subject, Emira, died a natural death. She is the wife of Lord Upcliffe, who also has cancer. Why has everybody in Andalia suddenly got cancer? It's spreading worse than the grayscale. It's like it's a great sickness. When did it become catchable? Lord Hilario for Andalia. Lady Redwolf, what are you playing at? Lord Gerald the Just is backing... Okay, so some people are backing Danes, which is interesting. Lord Danes the Wise has declared Lord Danes' 3rd claim on Eastworld war on Lord Ellis of Eastworld. Interesting. Your Grace, I humbly ask that you intervene on my behalf against the aggression of Lord Danes Corbury, who is invading my lands in obvious contravention of the peace of the realm. I would be eternally grateful for your support in this matter. And I think that's the perfect place to end this episode. So Danes Corbury is back to his old tricks, trying to claim the Hunterlands, and the Night's Watch is under threat from the Wildlings, so we are marching north to help out there, and we've got some Ironborn going on a conquest, which is also interesting. So, yeah, as I said, we'll end here, so thank you all so much for watching, as always. I hope that you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and comment down below if you did. I love reading all your guys' comments, theories, and ideas for this series. It's one of my favourite parts about the Knights of Andalia, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode. Belvazar Bolton, Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, was riding at the top of the column, his eyes trying to pick out shapes in the shadows of the haunted forest. It may seem as if he was some sort of noble hero, but the only thing Belvazar thought about was, how did I get here? It all started a week ago. He was, as usual, inspecting the defences of the wall, and was about to do a tour of the garrison of the Shadow Tower. It was then that the horn located atop the icy wall was blown. Suddenly, the men of the watch became tense. The Lord Commander stopped and began to listen. One blow, his men began to relax again. All feared a wildling attack that had been announced several weeks ago. But something was not right. Instead of slowly walking under the wall, it seemed as though the patrol was riding at full speed towards the courtyard. Sensing something important had happened, Belvazar turned his horse and rode towards the tunnel entrance and headed towards the rangers. A few seconds afterwards, his first ranger, Sir Lewis, halted his horse. 2 rangers with him. The exchange between the 2 men was brief but intense. Lord Commander, a huge wildling host is marching south. It is as we feared. A new king beyond the wall has united the tribes. Who, Lewis, and how many? Moor's Widowmaker, Lord Commander, and he brings more than 100,000 savage free folk. Belvazar was shocked, yet he managed to keep his usual calm face. Now more than ever, his men, the Watch, needed his guidance. Very well, we must act quickly then. Follow me. Without waiting for his reply, Belvazar turned his horse around and rode back into the courtyard, shouting commands which made the men of the watch scatter, each answering his orders. "Prepare to leave, I want all able-bodied men in an hour, and bring me Maester Byron quickly, and First Steward Cormond." A few minutes later, as Sir Lewis was getting ready to leave, only stopping by to eat some food and change horses, the Maester and Cormond arrived running. Belvazar turned towards them and said with a tone that did not permit refusal, "Maester, send a letter to all the lords and ladies and kings of Westeros. Tell them that the watch is in dire need, and that we need their help. And tell Sandor and Malador to send out their men from the wall at once, to see to their own defences. The wildling host is coming." The Maester nodded, but before leaving turned towards the Lord Commander and said, "Even Andalia, Lord Commander?" He knew about the deep hatred of Belvazar for the Sevensstars, and hence why he asked such a question. Belvazar closed his eyes and with the face of a man who swallowed his pride, replied, "Yes, Maester, all of them." He then turned towards Cormond and said, "You have the wall. I will lead the rangers and most of our troops out of Castle Black. Make sure the defences hold, in case we cannot return. And in case any of the Southerners answer the call, welcome them as well." Cormond nodded and then quickly left to begin overseeing the defences. Meanwhile, Belvazar went back to his tower and took Skinpeeler with him. A faint smile appeared on his lips. The last time the sword was drawn was against wildlings, the ones who slew his father. It was now time for him to get his revenge, and Skinpeeler was once again earning her dreaded name on the battlefield. A few hours later, all was ready. Belvazar was ahead of the column, just where he met Lewing earlier in the day. He knew some of his men were just boys who never saw a fight. He knew others were veterans of 100 battles like Harbert Redstone sent to Eastwatch. Others were slowly dying like the fat-ass Roman Sevenstar or Garland Lancer. But they were all like him. All wore proudly or not the black cloak of the Night's Watch. All swore their oath to guard the realms of men, yes, even Andalia. Oh, the irony. Belvazar knew he fought this war to protect the same thing he and his father tried to destroy. But in his years at the wall, the Bolton Lord learned that the past didn't matter. He needed to make peace with it. Lyanna was dead, in a fitting way. Aengar Firehand and Morribold Rack as well. All of those who wronged him were dead. Now was the time for him to look northwards and to let go of the past. And thus Belvazar Bolton drew his sword and said a speech that would hopefully be recorded in the annals of the Watch. "Men of the Watch, hear me. We are now facing a horde of countless wildlings, savages who want to burn our lands and kill all that we love. When I left the dread fort, I left a daughter behind me, a daughter that I cherish above all else." He looked at each of his men, his glance of burning hatred for the wildlings piercing their eyes before drawing his sword and raising it high, showing its Valyrian steel. "But will I let those savages take my daughter, just like they took my father? No, I will not. And will I be damned if I let any of them across the wall? I will fight and fight and fight again, to the bitter end if needs be. But as a man of the Night's Watch, as the Lord Commander of this order, I will not retreat. I will go forward, only forward to my death or to my victory." He lowered the sword he held high. "Now, men of the Watch, I ask you this. Are you ready to fight with me, to bleed with me, to die with me?" His voice put his men into a warrior's trance, who all raised their fists and shouted, "Aye!" Belvazar knew he had succeeded, and so turned his horse towards the exit and shouted before riding outside of Castle Black, "Then follow me, men, for the Night's Watch and for Westeros." And so, this is how Belvazar Bolton led his army into the haunted forest, ready to face the host. They will either win or die, but as men of the Night's Watch they will not run, they will fight.